it knocked it out of the park. It just did so good. So this is the hero, the star of this video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's having a great day today. So today's video, I'm actually really excited for this. This is going to be a fun one. We're trying out a ton of makeup from ShopMissA. If you haven't been to their shop before, they sell a lot of items on there for just $1. And I thought it was so funny because someone actually commented in one of my videos recently recommending ShopMissA. And I don't know what they sent out into the universe, but they actually contacted me wanting to know if I would do a video for them. So I'm very happy to say that today's video is sponsored by ShopMissA. We're going to be trying out a whole face of makeup, and we have tools, skincare, some home items, just random things. There's going to be a lot to go over in today's video. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to keep on watching this video, of course. And before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I also want to mention that ShopMissA gives back to local communities through the Feel Good initiative. Anything that is marked Paw Paw, it is a special edition that they donate to animal protection, and anything that is marked A+ is for supporting children's education. I'll make sure I have everything listed down below, details on it, because I think that is just awesome. And plus, a little side note, the things that are labeled Paw Paw, that brand, everything's really cute. Okay, so where do we start on this? Because we have a ton of products in today's video. I think I'm going to split it up in categories by skincare, tools, and then we're going to get into all the makeup, because there's a ton of makeup that they sent me to try out for the video today. So starting with our skincare. They do have several bundles listed online for $10, and these are going to be made up depending on your skin type. If you are oily skin, sensitive skin, dry skin, combo skin, for $10 you do get a bunch of products to try out. So the first thing that I tried out, we have a foaming face cleanser. This is the niacinamide 2% and ceramide and green tea hydrating cleaning foaming cleanser. And I also forgot to say earlier that everything on the site starts at $1. Some of the items that I chose today, they're priced at either $1, $1.55, or $1.88. I will make sure I have on the screen somewhere the retail price of everything in case you want to go check it out for yourself. But anyways, back to their skincare. Everything they have is in this little packet, which I actually really like because it makes it perfect for travel. And the niacinamide in here, this is good to clarify, refine your skin's texture while minimizing the look of pores. So the ceramide and green tea, this is packed with a variety of powerful antioxidants that help to replenish the skin and fight environmental stressors. Now for a foaming cleanser, this is typically something that I wouldn't choose because of my combination skin. Most of the time, foaming cleansers dry my skin out, but I did try this today and it surprisingly didn't leave my skin feeling stripped of its natural moisture barrier. Actually felt kind of nice afterwards. So definitely give this a try. So far this one has been a hit. The next time that I tried out, this is the ShopMissA 7 Calming Complex Gel Moisturizer. And again, I really recommend this if you have oily skin or combo skin. The ingredient ShopMissA, if I'm not saying that correctly, ShopMissA, I think it's ShopMissA, that's really good to reduce redness as well. So if you have stressed skin, I highly recommend this. So after I used this, I kind of just left it on my skin to let it do its own thing, just let it kind of soak in, and to make sure I didn't have any issues with any irritation before I started putting on more new products. At the end of everything, it did feel really nice on the skin, but I do have to say, if you have dry skin, I probably wouldn't recommend this because I think after I did my makeup, my base was a little bit too dry and had some dry patchiness, so maybe I need something a little bit heavier, but definitely if you have oily skin, I think this would be a huge hit for you. Then moving on, this is one of these products that you need to keep on hand just in case. I don't break out as much as I used to, but I still occasionally do get active breakouts with my acne, and these are the invisible acne patches. They have tea tree and ShopMissA. I always feel weird when I say that word. This is to absorb impurities and protect your skin. And you get 12 patches in here. Haven't had a chance to try it out, but I will try it out the next time I really need it. I've got a couple of spots brewing in there, so it may be sooner than I would like, but at least I'm prepared when they get there. Now this next item, this is pretty much my favorite invention when it comes to skincare and removing your makeup. They have their own cleansing balm, and this has green tea and vitamin E in it. Now this is a really good size, especially for the price. It makes it extremely affordable. and I used it today. Obviously I haven't used it for removing all of my makeup because I still have my face on. But I was trying out a bunch of different lipsticks earlier, and I was using it to remove the liquid lipsticks because I wasn't about to take a makeup wipe to this. I wanted to do something just a little bit less aggressive on my lips. If you're a fan of any cleansing balms, no matter what brand that is your favorite, I highly recommend that you give this a try. For the price, you absolutely cannot beat it, and so far it's been working really well. I'll find out tonight whenever I take this makeup off how well it does removing waterproof makeup, because that I am really curious about. Now this next product, technically they have it with the skincare section, but I would honestly list this more of a home decor item or storage item. This is the skincare storage tower. This is only like $1 or $1.88. Anyway, everything in here is really, really affordable. But is this not the cutest thing ever? And actually, I got this in a couple of different colors, but they made this specifically for the skincare. These little packets, they fit in there perfectly. So you can organize and store everything that you have. But I'm going to recommend this to anyone, not just for your skincare. I recommend it more for your makeup brushes, your eyeliners, your lip liners. If you're an artist, use it for your brushes, for your paints, because it is perfect. Hold all your pencils in here. Like, this is just genius. And this is the two colors that they come in. They have a frosted one, but it was sold out whenever I went to go shop. That one I would probably get just because it pretty much matches any kind of decor, but these are actually super cute. I love the colors. But you can hold a ton of product in here. Like, I cannot wait to get these out, and I think I'm probably going to store my eyeshadow brushes and my lip liners. I'll keep that in there. But they also have a little hook here so that you can mount it on the wall, free up some space on your vanity. This is genius. I'm sorry, this is one of my favorite things. I saw this on a different website for a much higher price. Not going to say who, but I will say you need to buy it here. Best price I have been able to find anywhere. Okay, so the next item we have is a gua sha. This is a jade face sculptor. Now this is part of the charity edition. The price on this is $1.88, and if you've been watching my channel for any time, you know that I have been searching for this. And I didn't want to buy it on Amazon or eBay because I know you could get it quickly, but the price was kind of up there and I wanted to see it in person. Haven't been able to find it anywhere else, but whenever I saw this on the site, yes. So for $1.88, I was very, very happy, and didn't bother me at all trying something without seeing it first. And thankfully, it turned out pretty cute. Like this, I cannot wait to play with it. Gua sha is supposed to be really good for lymphatic drainage because we retain a lot of water in our face. That's what I've read online. And I just want to see if there's anything I can do, like maybe with sinuses or blood flow. I just want to get into it, okay? I've seen people use these all over their bodies, not just on their face. So if you have any experience with the gua sha, if you have any tips for a beginner, make sure to drop those down below. Moving on with our tools, we have a mask brush. This is something that honestly I think everyone needs. If you're into doing a lot of skincare, a lot of skincare masks, I think this is really good for making sure that you get an even application, and for the price you honestly can't beat it. It's made out of silicone, so it's going to be very gentle on the skin, and it's not going to hold any bacteria, anything that will cause any irritation on your skin. They have so many tools on there. Really, if after you're done watching this video, you should just go on their website and kind of surf around. Next item that we have is for our hair care lovers, or anyone just trying to do their makeup and keep their hair out of their face. We have the no crease hair clips. They do have these in different colors, and it's not really something that I needed, but it's something that I'm very thankful to have, and it just makes the whole process easier. I really like these clips, and they didn't pull out any hair or anything like that, so I don't know how to review hair clips, if you can't tell. Wait, I actually forgot one of the skincare items. We have a lip sleeping mask. This is the Jelly Jam, and the flavor that I got is strawberry. Not gonna lie, I actually forgot that I had this all together, or I would have tried it out today in this video, but I will make sure I try this out tonight because I'm a huge fan of lip sleeping masks. I love waking up with juicy plump lips. Now back to our tools. This is the acrylic mixing palette 2-piece set. Now this is $2.55, and again this is a charity edition. I didn't get a chance to try it out in today's video, but it's something that I have always wanted. And it's one of those things that you don't really know that you need it until you need it. If you have different foundations you're trying to mix up, you can put them on here and use the little spatula that they include to mix it up and then apply it straight to your face. If you're into making your eyeshadows into eyeliners, scrape a little bit of the eyeshadow onto this, a little bit of water, and you have a eyeliner of any color you can think of. And especially the thing now is, like with the eyeshadows, they have the flakes and then the mixing mediums. That would work really, really well on here. And it's such a good price, and it's something that's really practical. I used to save the little hard plastic inserts inside eyeshadow palettes that they use to protect the shadows from the mirror, but I don't have to do that anymore now that I have this. And if you don't like the acrylic one, they also have this in stainless steel. Now this next item is probably one of my favorite items out of everything they sent me to try out today. We have a handheld mirror. It is so cute. I like the color on this one, but they do have it in multiple colors. And on the back it says AOA Studio. AOA Studio is actually their in-house brand. The ShopMissA, this is their personal brand. This one and OKI. So pretty much everything that I have here is going to be just from ShopMissA. They do have a lot of other brands, and I think the majority of those are $1, but we're going to be focusing just on their in-house brand today. And if you noticed, it does have the little cute kitty cat here, which means it's part of the Paw Paw collection, which means it's charity edition. The next item that we have is their makeup sponge. Whenever I saw that they had this, of course I had to try it out, and I chose the nude shade just because my beauty blenders, beauty sponges always get stained, and I thought maybe something like this, it wouldn't show as bad. It's looking kind of rough right now. I put this thing through the ringer today, but it did exceptionally well. It's super soft, and it is also latex free. Hopefully everything cleans out of it pretty well, but if not, like I said, it's a nude shade, so it's not going to be so obvious whenever it's cleaned. I have a couple that have stained that are gray, not this brand, but other brands, and it drives me crazy. Or you get a white makeup sponge. Of course that thing's going to be stained in 2 seconds. Really, really hoping this one does better. But to go with the makeup sponge, I also got a holder that is one of the cutest ones I've ever seen. And this is from the AOA Studio. Look at this thing. This is, honest to gosh, so adorable. It is rubber or plastic, whatever it is. It feels like rubber. But you just open it up here and your sponge goes inside. I didn't try it whenever I wet it, so okay, so it has to be dry for it to fit in there. So after I've washed it, dried it out, it's going to go in here, that way it doesn't get dirty before I'm ready to use it. They had this one in a couple of different colors as well, and honestly I'm tempted to get all of them because it's just adorable. Like, I've not seen a makeup sponge holder like this. I keep wanting to call it beauty blender. But I've never seen a makeup sponge holder like this. Like, that's just adorable. Super cute. Okay, now we're down to the main event. I got so much makeup from them to try out because I wanted to do a full face of makeup from ShopMissA. And so much here. Oh, and also one last thing. I forgot, they have this little collapsible crate. They have multiple colors, multiple sizes, and I think they range anywhere from $1 to $1.88. This one is $1. Took me just a couple seconds to put it together, but it's perfect for holding all of this. Like, I was surprised all my makeup fit in here. But anyways, let's dive into this because we certainly have a lot. To start off the look, I used their eyeshadow primer. This is called the Soft Base in the shade Nude. So for the product itself, you do get a full-size amount, not like a deluxe travel size or a mini size, and it actually had really good coverage. So if you're like me and you have veins that show up in your eyelids, this did such a wonderful job covering everything up, and I didn't have anything peeking through whenever I went to apply my eyeshadow. So far, because I've had this makeup on quite a long time at this point, my battery still hasn't been replaced yet, and so filming is taking a lot longer these days. But so far, this has been holding up really well. My eyeshadow looks still beautiful, and I have to say, so far, this is a hit. Now, speaking of eyeshadows, for today's look, I tried out 2 different eyeshadow palettes from their line. The look that I created today is very warm tone, and so far they've been performing really well. A lot of the ones that they had in the AOA Studio, at the time I went shopping, it was mostly nudes, but they have recently released some more bolder colors. And I will make sure I have pictures of those on the screen because honestly they're so beautiful, and I'm kind of bummed out that they weren't available whenever I was placing my order with them. But anyways, back to these eyeshadow palettes. I used mostly the quad to create the look today, and I'm mostly focused on the matte shades in here. I think they performed beautifully. They were full pigmentation, and I don't know if it was just because I used an eyeshadow primer, because they swatched really well. Whenever I swatched them, there was a ton of pigment payoff from that as well. I can't say that the pigmentation across all the eyeshadows would be absolutely amazing based on this experience, because the only thing that was missing from the quad here is I wish they had more deeper shade. Like if they would have substituted one of these two shades here for something a little bit deeper, that way if you wanted to line your lash line, or if you wanted to deepen the crease a little bit, just something to give it a little bit more depth, I think that would have been beneficial, and that would have been a really good test to see if there were any patchiness, anything like that. But so far, based on this experience today, the mattes perform beautifully. The shimmer shades. Now I did use two different shimmers, one from each palette, so I could test out the formulation and see if there was a difference between them. I used the bronze shade, this bottom one from this palette, and it actually gave me a little bit of trouble. I tried using it with my finger first just to see how it would do on its own, and I really didn't get a lot of payoff of it. I had to go in with a brush and then spray it with water, and then it did beautiful. So it may have just been that one shade, because I went in with this one with my fingertip and it did much, much better. I put this in on the inner third of the lid just to kind of do like an ombre look, and it did so much better. This one has a little bit more of a rose gold shade in here, and it's so pretty. I have had this makeup on all day long while I've been trying to film this video, and while the shades did really, really well, as the day wore on, the shadow that I had used to line the lower lash line actually disappeared, and I had to redo it and touch up in preparation for this part of the video. So it may be that these shadows actually need a primer to give them that little bit of extra grip, because I didn't put any primer under here. Did use concealer and it looked really good at the moment, but it just kind of disappeared throughout the day. So I'm going to try it with other bases to see if it's like brand specific, like it needs to work only with theirs, or if the shadows will work with any base. Now moving on to the base makeup. I tried out a couple of different primers. We have this one, the Blur Affection Face Primer, and the No Pore Face Primer. The Blur Affection Face Primer, this one is supposed to be comparable to like the e.l.f. one or the Tatcha Silk Canvas. It's got a very balmy, lightweight texture that glided on very easily, smoothed everything out. And then the No Pore Face Primer, I expected this one to have the consistency kind of like the Benefit No Pore Film Primer. When it said pore filling, I just assumed that's what it was going to be. But it's actually more like the silicone texture of the Smashbox Primer. And honestly, I did half with this one and half with the other primer. They both kind of left me with the same finish. So I don't know if I can say I prefer one over the other. Now the next item we have is foundation, and they do have a full coverage foundation. This is called the Pro Wear. You do have 1 fluid ounce in here, and this is also part of the Paw Paw collection, and so part of the proceeds will go to protect animals against abuse. Love that about this. But the shade that I received is Buff. I had a little bit of trouble. It was a little tricky choosing your shade online, but I would probably recommend, if you're in between shades or if you're not sure, don't do like I did and just buy one. Like for the price, go ahead and buy a couple of different ones, because then you can mix up your foundation to make the perfect shade with the palette. They say that the coverage on here is full coverage, but I would probably say it's more medium to full. It did build up really nicely and it blended out well with the sponge that they provided. I had a couple of, like I said, issues with patchiness on some of the breakouts that I had previously. They haven't healed yet, and so it looked a little bit funny in those spots. And one thing that I also noted is that where I applied the primer, it did really well, but I forgot to put primer on my nose, on the bridge specifically. I put it on the sides, but I didn't put it on the bridge. And it did not apply well there at all. It looks actually pretty patchy there. So definitely use a primer with it, and maybe I need to exfoliate. Now with that said, the real true hero of the base makeup is the liquid concealer. And the shade that I have is Fair Ivory, and this is just what they showed that went with the Buff foundation. This is so good. If you buy anything from the brand, get their concealer. It's a liquid concealer. It is very light, where it feels very lightweight, but it applies a ton of coverage. It did so good. Like, I was shocked how well this did. I would honestly prefer just getting a few tubes of this and maybe just kind of applying this as a foundation. Like, I don't know if that's something they recommend or if they have a foundation that has kind of like the same coverage as this. I don't know what this is. This is such a good product. I was so happy with it. But as far as covering my under eye circles, I did not do any color correction on purpose because I wanted to see how the coverage was, and it just did. It knocked it out of the park. It just did so good. So this is the hero, the star of this video. Definitely get this. Now, pedaling back to the eye look that I did today, I forgot to mention a few items. The first one we have is the Sculpting Brow Pencil. Out of everything that I tried out today, this wasn't it. It does have an exceptionally soft spoolie on here, which I do appreciate, and it made it comfortable to use. You know how sometimes you'll get some and they're super scratchy and it just kind of drives you crazy? This one was very nice. My issue with this is the actual pencil. It is a wider tip, like it's the triangular shape, which I know you can't get very precise with products like that. And I have very thin to no eyebrows, so I need something a little bit more definition, a little bit more precision. That way I can fill it in where I need to. But I can work with anything. We can make it work. What I can't make work is something waxy. And this, you had to work so hard to get color payoff from it. And I just really didn't like it. Like, whenever you swatch it, it's swatched beautifully. Looked like you're going to get beautiful strokes, like hair strokes with it, beautiful color payoff. But then whenever I went to apply it to the brows, it just did something different. I don't know what was up with that. I'm going to see if they have a more precise brow pencil, because maybe the formula is different on that, and then maybe just the tip on this was throwing me off. I waited till after I already had my eyeshadow done before using this, and I should have done it first. That way I could have used the eye primer to carve out and give my brows a little bit of shape, because it was just so hard to figure out where the color was going, and you would think you would apply it and then it wouldn't really show anything. Like, I really just didn't like the product. That one was a flop for me. The next item we have is the Artista eyeliner pen, and the shade that I picked out was blue. And I did that on purpose because I didn't want to go with just a standard black eyeliner, because I think that's what most companies have. When it comes down to the color, that can kind of be a tell of whether or not it's a good quality. And so far with the pigmentation on the blue one, it looks absolutely beautiful on the eyes. Great pigmentation. I wasn't thinking about the eye look that I created whenever I chose the blue, but it ended up working out. And it's a little bit drier formula than what I'm used to, but I think it kind of works in its favor. I hate it whenever you get an eyeliner and whenever you apply it, you have to kind of keep your eyes, like, stay looking down for a few seconds while it gets a chance to set and dry. You don't have that issue with this. Pretty much the second that you apply it, you're good to go. But I'm curious to see how the other eyeliners are. They had a ton to choose from on the website, so it was hard to narrow down specific colors and the type that I wanted to try. Next thing we have, this is their Fat Lash Mascara. This one I kind of have mixed feelings about. Like, I really like it as far as the wand itself. The wand does such an amazing job at separating your lashes, and it's super flexible, so it makes it easy to use. I've never thought myself as a person who likes clumpiness in their mascara, but this one does almost too good of a job of separating your lashes. I like it, the formula just be a little bit thicker, that way it will kind of give a little bit extra volume to the lashes, but this is definitely a really good defining mascara, lengthening mascara. I've had this makeup on for a really long time today, and so far I'm not seeing any issues with transferring, so far it's doing really well. Oh, and also you can layer it up multiple times. It doesn't really give a whole lot more volume, but it kind of just keeps lengthening your lashes. So it just depends on what type of person you are. If you want the definition and length, definitely go for it. But if you're wanting more of that va-va-voom volume, it might not be for you. Now, back to our base makeup. After I did my concealer and spread it out, I did set it with the AOA Studio Perfect Setting Powder, and the shade that I picked out is the Brightening Powder. They have a translucent, but I tend to not go to translucent because those can give flashback really bad, and it just overly brightens. But this one had a little bit of pigmentation to it, a little bit of color, and it did really well. It blurred everything out, set everything beautifully, and so far my foundation hasn't really budged throughout the day. My concealer has done alright, so far upon initial application it's doing good, but I haven't really used it enough to form an opinion on it yet. The next two products I definitely have though. This is the Perfect Blush, and it's called that for a very specific name because it is perfect. I really like it. The color that I chose is Wispy. This is such a beautiful warm peachy blush, and I think it looks really good on my skin tone. But the thing that I like the most about this is that it's not powdery. I don't know why in my head I was expecting that the blush would be powdery whenever I dipped my brush into it, but it didn't. It did really well. A lot of pigmentation on there, but it is buildable. It's not too intense. You can build it up to the intensity that you want. I think they have a bunch of shades of this one if I'm not mistaken, and I actually want to get more of these. I like the packaging on it. I like the product. I love the price. Awesome. Now again, this next one I kind of have mixed feelings about. This is the Velour highlighter, and the shade that I was sent is For You. I think that's the shade name. I'm so sorry. Whenever I first got this, I dipped into it to kind of like do a swatch for you guys to show you what the shade looked like. But as soon as I touched it, oh my gosh, like it threw me off. This one, it's not a powder highlight. It's more of a putty highlighter. Kind of like the one from Stila that everyone went crazy for there for a while, myself included. This has that same moussey texture that just kind of moves around in the pan. Like honestly, it's fun to play with. I really liked it whenever I applied it to the high points of the face, like my cheeks here. It looked beautiful, didn't have any issues. Tapped it out with my fingertips, and little side note, make sure you go very lightly with it. It's very intense. The only spot that gave me any kind of issue when using the product is again like the tip of the nose. I went up the bridge just to kind of do a little bit of highlighting there. But just starting from the primer to the foundation to this, it started to pull up the foundation, what little foundation stuck. Like this area of my nose just not doing well. It might just be me, so I don't want to say it was the makeup products, but it just wasn't having a good day, and I've just kind of given up on it and just said enough with it, and it'll just be what it is. But this one was so fun to play with. I highly recommend it. Like if you want something a little bit different in your makeup collection, I think this would be a good one. Now the last items that I tried out for today's video are lip products. And honestly, the website has so many, it's hard to choose what you want. All the different formulas, the types, the finishes, the colors, they just have a ton to choose from. But at a really good price, so you can kind of go nuts and get whatever you want, which is what I did. I ended up getting so many different colors. And this is why I had to use that cleansing balm earlier, because I swatched, like put on every single one of these for today's video. We have the Wonder Matte liquid lipsticks, and I got 3 different shades for that. The next one, I got 2 shades from their Velvet Lips collection, and this is again the Paw Paw edition. And I think this formula was my absolute favorite. It didn't dry down completely matte, it kept it a little bit creamy, and it was really comfortable on the skin. And the colors in here, I wish I went with maybe one of these a little bit different, because they were very similar and kind of hard to tell the difference between the two. But out of the 2, my favorite shade is Lana. We also tried their matte lipsticks, and this is in the shade Shore. It actually did arrive broken. It was moving around a little bit in there, so it was a little bit tricky trying to apply it, but the finish on it's really beautiful and it was super comfortable to wear. And the lip gloss. This is called the Diamond Lip Gloss. They have clear lip glosses on there with no shimmer in it, but I thought, what fun is that? So I went with the glittery shade. And this one, 111, I think is the shade name. No, it's Posh. Sorry. This has so much glitter in it. Like, it's insane how much glitter is in this lip gloss. I actually don't like it because it's so much. I like something a little bit finer, micro glitter. You can just barely feel the glitter in this one. But that's not why I wouldn't wear it. It's just too much glitter. I can't really, like, maybe if I'm going for a very specific certain look, it would be nice. But I don't really generally wear that on a daily basis. But it doesn't look like there would be that much glitter in the tube, but whenever you apply it, it's just insane. And the last few items, I didn't get a chance to try out already, but we're going to go ahead and give it a test now. These 2 eyeliners just launched recently. They are the Beauty Face Stamps, and it's a 2-in-1 stamp and eyeliner. So on one end you're going to get a stamp, and on the other you're going to get a regular liquid eyeliner. And the shapes that I got are Flower and Star. I've gotten a product similar to this in my collection from Milk Makeup, but that one was kind of expensive, so I really just want to try this one out and just kind of see how it was in comparison to that. So I'm going with the Star, and we're going to apply it. Like, first off, just do a little test here. Here you go. These are really easy to use, and it's fun to create just fun looks. So let's just put one right here. Oh, that's cute. So it's like a little star of beauty mark. I've seen people get really creative with this and they'll put it like all over their eye and just make a full design with it. I'm not quite up to that level yet, so this is about as adventurous as I get. Maybe one on each side. But that actually did really well, and there's not any bleeding. Okay. That was an amazing deal. I'm kind of mad that I bought the other one because it was so stupid expensive. I wish that this was around at that time because I would have saved so much money. Alright guys, well that is everything. That was a lot of products. I'm sorry this is such a long video, but they sent me so many good things to try out and I'm so appreciative to them. And again, thank you to ShopMissA for sponsoring today's video. I liked pretty much everything they sent me. There was a couple of misses in here, but honestly, I think you're going to get that with any brand. And there's a lot of things in here that I can compare to higher end products. So there's definitely many ways to save a bunch of money. I am curious to try more from the brand. I know that they have a brick and mortar store. Like you can actually go in there and go shopping. And I didn't know this till I was following them on Instagram. They have honestly like mountains of products lined up against the wall, like little displays of it. And I just want to go in there and touch it all. Well, can't because of COVID, like touch everything. But I would love to go in there and actually physically see everything and check it out. I've gone through the website and they have so many things to look at. Like you could spend all day on there honestly just figuring out everything they have. And oh, side note, orders over $35 get free shipping, which we all appreciate. And honestly wouldn't be hard to do. I want to get some more of these, some of the bigger containers, because I could really use these and I love that they collapse so that whenever you're done with them you can store them real easy. Definitely going to get more of these. I actually showed this one to Devin and he was like, that would be good in my truck. Like his mobile truck that he uses to repair cell phones and computers. He could store his tools in here and just have them, again, hanging on the wall, kind of keep them safe out of the way, but you know where they are. This is such a genius idea. I love, love, love that. I'm going to go on there and get more lipstick shades. This did so well. Like lipstick is something that honestly I don't go through a full tube. Like it takes me a long time to actually go through it. Has to be like an absolute favorite for that to happen. But at least with this you can shop kind of guilt-free. You can stock up in all the different colors that you like or that you think you may like. The price makes it to where you can have fun experimenting with different products. I definitely need to go in there and stock up on the concealer. So happy with this. Like if you get anything, I said this earlier, but if you get anything from the video, get their concealer. The concealer is awesome. If you've been to ShopMissA before or if you've purchased things from their online website, make sure you drop down your recommendations down below because there may be a part 2 to this video. But yeah, I hope you're having a great day, a great night whenever you're watching this. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do before you leave. And I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!